he looks me dead in the eye, spits on the floor. Oh, I hope a tree falls on your car while you're sleeping. We're back.
We're back.
The best intro. We're back.
We're back.
And today we're going to talk about retail, my most embarrassing moments, because I've been thinking about them a lot. This one, my favorite story, I literally think about once a week. I worked at a party store, and we usually kept the piñatas at the very top because, you know, children would like punch them and stuff when they walk through the aisle, so we had to keep them out of reach.
Yeah.
So whenever you needed a piñata, you'd be like, oh, hey, I need something from the Dora section, or, you know, whatever. And I'd meet you down there with a ladder. And usually how it goes, you know, I get up there, and then once I'm up there, I just kind of hand the piñata down because it's like, it weighs like air. It's nothing. So that way I don't have to like climb down with one thing in my hand.
Yeah.
So one day this guy comes up and he asks, he's like, something about like, I think it was Monsters Inc. or whatever. He's like, oh, I need a piñata. And he's like, he's standing very nonchalantly. He's got on glasses and like a backwards hat. He's wearing like a big hoodie, so he's kind of like standing there like this. You know how you have like your arms to the side? Like my hoodie, it always like covers my hands. That's what I think he's styling like me.
Styling.
Yeah. So I go in the aisle and I go up the ladder and I grab a piñata and I like reach down in it, and he's just kind of like looking at me. So I just kind of like shake it a little bit, like maybe he didn't see me. I'm like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
And he's looking at me still, and he's not saying anything, and I'm looking down at him and I'm realizing he doesn't have any arms. He has no arms.
You're terrible.
I didn't know. I thought because like the way he was standing
He's
like that,
handicapped?
he was a vet. We talked a little bit at the register because he tried to make me feel better about it.
He lost his arms in combat?
Because after I realized he didn't have arms, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, it's been such a long day. And I was like trying to like mumble through it. I got down on the ladder and he tried to make me feel better about it. And he's like, oh, like it has like a little hook at the top. He's like, oh, I can just like carry that in my mouth. No problem. I'm like, no, I'll carry it to the front for you. Like trying to make me feel better, trying to make a joke. I'm like, you're so funny. I was shattered on the inside. And then when I got to the register, he's like, oh, it's no problem. You know, like I'm wearing a big hoodie. And I'm like, yeah, you are wearing a big hoodie. I think about him all the time. His wife is there and she was so sweet. And he's like, oh yeah, I just came back from wherever, you know, I lost my arms and like I have
both arms were gone?
Both arms, like
So
all
he
the
was
way up
carrying
top.
nothing.
Yeah. That's like the way he was standing. He even admitted, he's like, oh, I got a big hoodie on, you know. You couldn't see from up there. And I'm like, no, I really couldn't. But like, I think about the fact that I like literally like shook it at him, like, there you go, get it, like reach it. I'm like, oh.
We didn't know.
I think about it all the time.
You're forgiven.
I think I'm forgiven for that one because it wasn't purposeful.
The Lord forgives you
I
for
just
that
like,
one.
I was like 16. I wasn't paying attention. I was just like another day of getting a piñata. I think about him a lot though. If you're watching this, I think about it. I'm still sorry. It haunts me.
I recognize her type.
Yeah, he's gonna see this and be like, that's the girl from the party store. Always thinking about you, wishing you the best. But retail was not fun, especially like, I don't know what it is about being a cashier that like people automatically want to tell you all of their secrets. Like people just walk up.
Oh, 100%.
You already know. They'll walk up and be like, hi, how are you? And they'll be like, my dad just died and I gotta put my dog down and my car broke down. And I'm sitting there like, oh, what am I supposed to say to that?
Do you remember that old lady?
Yeah.
With the noodles with her, oh my God, I can't remember how I've smoked too much, but oh my God. The old lady, she was like, she would always come in and get her food her way. There was two of them. There was a woman that needed her rice noodle macaroni mixed up by hand.
I love
and then
her.
there's the other woman and she had surgery, like a hip surgery or something. And she didn't come for a while. And then she showed up again and she would always like recap the last week of her life.
Always.
Man, and you had to just sit there and take it because she would come when there was no other customers. Like
She planned it perfectly.
it was when it was just gonna be her. So it was like she has the floor. You know
I
what I
always
mean?
felt like she was waiting in the car because like we'd always have like a huge rush of people for like an hour. We're so busy and then it'll be dead and we're like,
we have
okay,
no time to chit chat.
we got time to chill now. And then here comes Jane. I'm like, oh, here's a 30-minute story about the week.
God.
But I loved her. She was so sweet.
Man, those were
Had to mix up her mac.
As soon as I would see those chicks coming in, I would
like,
immediately go
get a
back
tail.
and get a boss or something.
Yeah, you're like, I can't take
And
this.
you gotta have to take this. I'm like, why? What happened? It's
Certain
them.
customers, they come in. Sometimes you have to have like, you have to really think about it. Like, do I have the strength today?
Nah.
Usually no.
Well, Ron with his.
I had no strength for Ron.
Remember Ron?
Ron, if you're watching this, I know you know me. I know you recognize my face because every time we spoke, it was like this. I could not even smile at that man.
Ron was too funny. No, in a horrible way.
He was mean.
Not in a good way. Yeah.
He was a mean guy. You heard it? Overall, just like the way he talked to the female staff, like they were like beneath him. And like the second a man would step up, he's like, oh, no, I'm calm. I don't need to yell. I can just talk to you. I'm like, Ron, if you don't. These days.
He was annoying.
That's always something that, it makes me struggle so hard. Because I have a script I'm going based off. I'm asking you how you are, and then what you want to eat, where you're sitting, have a good day. And then when you're throwing me off with all these stories and I don't know how to respond, or I don't have the strength, I've worked like 10 hours, I'm tired, I want to go home. You're over here like, I'm painting my house. These two colors, what do you make of them? I'm like, oh my God, why am I being asked this? I make noodles.
I hated every bit. Every second of that place.
I always had like, I think the craziest interaction was when I was working at the party store. We'd blow up balloons like on the spot. And you know, balloons pop sometimes, not on purpose. A lot of people yelled at me for popping their balloons on purpose. Like, you know, sometimes they get just a little bit too much air and they pop. And they'd be like, you're doing that on purpose just because you're mad at me. And I'm like, how?
Why would that?
Balloons pop, and they're like, no, they teach you how to not pop them in school. I'm like, you think I went to school to learn how to blow up balloons with helium?
Yeah,
like,
the high school sophomores that are
my
getting their first job and their
goodness,
driver's license. They're the professionals of the
you think I went
workforce.
to school to blow up balloons? But yeah, one day we were blowing up balloons, you know, just casual day. And it was like one of those big ones, the jumbo like 24-inch ones. They're like this.
Yeah.
And it goes boom, and you know when it's like a big empty store, it like bounces off the walls. And this poor woman got so scared she went into labor. Her water broke. I literally watched it
That's terrible.
because she went oh, and I like looked up to see who got scared because sometimes I think it's funny when people get scared. I get scared sometimes when the balloons pop like right behind my head. So I looked up to see who it was, and I water, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm 16.
Yeah.
I've never seen this happen. She's like, oh my God, I'm going into labor. And her husband's freaking out. My managers are freaking out. And I'm standing there with the pop balloon in my hand, like, oh my God, like I'm gonna get in trouble for it. Oh my God. And I had to clean it up. I had to go over there with the mop. And,
That's gross.
yeah.
know.
I was okay with that. I wasn't okay with cleaning up throw up. I would never clean up throw up. You wouldn't believe how many
Oh,
children
that's the worst.
threw
I used
up
to
in
do
the
that
store.
every day at my jobs.
Throw up in the store. It's a party store. Why are you
I was
bringing
at
a
a
kid in
nursing
there?
home.
Yeah, it's a party store. We had this kid like in the aisle playing with like the marbles. They put one in his mouth. And he choked on it a little bit.
Oh,
He
God.
coughed it up and threw it up.
Whoa.
And the parents were yelling at me. They're like, we need help, he's choking. And I'm like, I'm
Always,
16, I blow up balloons.
It's always someone else's problem when people get themselves in the jackpot. It's
They're like,
always someone
we need
else's
someone,
problem.
he needs the Heimlich. And he's like waving to me. And I'm like, I'm 16, I blow up balloons, I don't know the Heimlich.
Yeah, they think you're supposed to be like CPR certified and all that
so,
other
like,
stuff. Like,
I peek around the corner to see like what's going on, and he finally like coughed it up and
Yeah.
he threw up all over the floor.
What do you want you to do?
I couldn't.
you're not
I was not good with
certified,
throw
or
up.
you didn't sign any paperwork that says you gotta.
They're like, we need help, we need someone to clean this up, clean him up. I'm like, this is your child. We have bathrooms, you could just go, why do I have to clean up the child?
People spitting up and throwing up that was like an everyday thing at the nursing home. So like most of the time
Is that a nursing home?
at like some places, you know, they do like we have that stuff that you sprinkle like it's like a wood
sawdust,
shaving
yeah,
type
Yeah.
thing or whatever. But most of the time we would just go grab a brand new mop head
Yeah, and
and just fix up a bucket of
Whatever you
bleach
can.
water or whatever and quickly just to disinfect it and then
Everything
call it
was
a
always
day.
my fault. That makes sense in like a nursing
they don't want
home.
to see you win.
But they did not want to see me win in this party store. We were known for our $1 cards.
Yeah.
All our cards, birthday, greeting, wedding, everything was $1.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. And then, you know, inflation and everything, prices go up literally in every single store. I'm not in control of it. I just work the counter. So a bunch of our cards go up in price, and now, you know, some of them are like $5. I get it, that's crazy. I'm not spending $5 on something you're gonna open, go, oh, thanks, toss away. We all do it.
Yeah.
But we still had like 6 whole sections of cards that were still $1. There was plenty of options for you to look at. And this man came in, and I knew people were used to our cards, so I already know people don't read any type of signs ever. So like, oh, hey, just so you know, like, our cards went up, like, this is the section of $1, everything else is not. And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. And he's like, you're gonna charge me $6 for this card. And I'm like, I mean, I have to, but the $1 cards are right over here. And he looks me dead in the eye, spits on the floor.
Oh, hell no.
And I'm looking at this 60-year-old man like,
Awesome.
what did you do?
Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino.
He went,
Get off my lawn.
and I was just standing there like, no way. He's like, I'm not buying this. And he throws it on the floor and continues walking up, spitting all over the floor.
That's gross.
Isn't that insane?
That's the entitled.
Over cards. Over a greeting card. That's what baffles me.
Okay, do you remember the guy that he went like completely ape shit because the bathrooms, he was like, why are there like all gender bathrooms or whatever? And he snapped while his kids were there. And he was like, this fucking country's ruined, blah, 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 and all this. Ooh,
Like, they're
man.
single-use stalls.
He snapped. Like, with 2 bathrooms and anybody can use them. That's what he hated. He wanted it to be separate bathrooms, and he was like, everybody knows their place and blah, blah, blah.
Crazy.
I was like, bro, what? In front of your kids in public? Like, you're not embarrassed looking like a fool?
Right, that's what gets me. I'm always thinking, like, you're not embarrassed right now?
Yeah.
Like, I'd be looking at everyone looking at me, and I'd be like, oh my God, I need to hide forever. Like, I could never act like that.
It's like, even if you
God.
disagree with something or whatever, like, to have that outburst in public, that's embarrassing. How do you not?
Crazy.
How are you not, like, you know?
I'm embarrassed.
You didn't think twice.
It's crazy, like how mad
And when
people
everybody
get.
was staring at you, you didn't even think, you didn't start feeling the
Like,
embarrassment?
no, this isn't a problem.
And
this is
like just
normal.
quietly make your exit? No, he threw like a full in front of his kids. I remember he had like 2 sons there with him.
I remember. That was wild because they're single. We had 2 bathrooms, but they were both single use with a lock. So it's like it makes sense that they're gender
It's just
neutral.
2 bathrooms that
It's just
and
2
anybody can
toilets.
use them.
And then one guy came in because we had the 2 bathrooms, but one of the bathrooms had a urinal. Which I think originally, like back then, it was a man and woman's, but they realized they're just single use. Like, why would I make a whole line for a woman's bathroom if it's just one toilet in there?
Yeah.
So we had one with a urinal, but the urinal was like out of order. And you know how things are in restaurants and stuff. Sometimes it takes a long time to get people in to work on it because they don't want to. They're like, oh, toilets still work, so it's not really like high priority.
Yeah, the urinal never worked
And
the whole
that
year.
man blew up. He storms out of the bathroom and he's like, you have 2 bathrooms. And I'm like, yes, we do. And he's like, and you have 1 urinal. And I'm like, yeah, it's out of order. He's like, yeah, I saw that. That's discriminating against me as a man. And I'm like,
How?
I'm like, sir, both the toilets work. And he's like, no, I only pee in urinals because I'm a man. I'm like, do you have a urinal in your home? Like, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm not.
But like,
I should have. Looking back, I should have been like, do you
I'd
have a
been
urinal
like,
in your home?
and what happens when things break? You know what I mean?
He
Like,
just like went on this race, like, I'm gonna call
something-
corporate, I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
sue, this is discrimination, you're all gonna lose your jobs. I'm like, go for it.
those
The
people are
urinal
nuts.
was 1 foot away from the functioning toilet. That's what blew my mind the
Yeah.
most. I was like, dude.
Those people are nuts.
You looked at your options, you're like, no, they hate me. They did this because they hate me.
They're nuts.
Like, what? I don't know what it is about people abusing you if you're in like customer service.
If you made the food wrong, they would say that you'd like literally try to poison them
Yeah.
and stuff like that. We got lots of those.
Yeah. I was out to get them.
And I'm not gonna lie, there were a couple. I didn't poison nobody, but there were a couple of times when like maybe an Indian person ordered food, and then when they would find meat, like I'm just a cashier, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm just taking the damn order, and like people would slip in. I think it was like Griffin or something. Sometimes like out of spite.
Sometimes we have young kids who are smoking that don't really care about the job.
All
A
the
piece of chicken
all the
falls
high
in.
school kids, I think
get that.
they would just send it, and like then when they come up, it's like the order of operations. Well, the first person they see is like me or whoever's.
So you're the targeted blame.
Yeah, whoever took the order, they're right away getting. Well, you didn't put it right. It's like, bro, first of all, yes I did. Here's the receipt. I typed everything right. It's called back there.
It's out of my hands.
Someone dropped some meat in your plate and said, you know what? I don't care.
Yep.
Like that's got nothing to do with me. That's between them and Jesus. Like
That'd be my favorite when I like watched the new people and they came in, like a piece of chicken would fall in, and I'd watch their mindset of, oh, I should pick this out and remake it because it's a vegetarian dish. And instead, they would just like push it down into the dish to hide it.
Messiah opening spaghetti packets with his mouth in front of the customers.
In front of the customers, it's like, oh, we need more spaghetti.
Giant
like a rat.
a giant like 5 or 10 pound bag of marinara sauce. He tears it open with his mouth right in front of the customers. Use that.
Oh my god, I love
Meatball falling off of like the plate and rolling around on all the stainless steel, and people grabbing with the tongs, throw it right back on there. Oh my god, you can't give like high school kids their first job like in the food department.
No, they don't care enough.
That's like that's
unsafe.
the type of job that usually young kids get their first job into the workforce, whatever. They're trying to make money or whatever. No, you gotta stop.
Not for food. It's so unsafe. Like
that's terrible.
They really don't care. Because I didn't care at 16, and I don't blame them. Like I did all the same stuff. When I messed up food, I'd be like, if I just put more spaghetti on top.
They go out. They take a 2-minute break.
They come back gone.
They come back. They went and smoked so much weed. They got highs, and then they got blunt fingers. And they go in the bathroom, take a piss, don't wash their hands, and now they're like grabbing. They're grabbing your apple for your meal like with their hand.
Oh.
It's terrible. That's why every time I was gonna eat food, I always made it myself.
Yeah,
you can't have anybody else make the food
I'd put
for
in
you.
my
That's
order
gross.
and clear it right away so no one could see it. I'm like, it's okay, I got it, I'll make it. Like, oh, we can make, no, it's all good. I don't trust you.
I don't trust none of your hands.
I've seen you go to the bathroom 5 times. Not once did I hear that sink turn on.
Or like you went out and had 8 smoke breaks and you were passing the bowl around and I never once saw you go in the bathroom or wash up after that. Like,
no, that's right. It's nasty. I love how that's like a majority of all our experiences, starting off like so young. They're fun. They're fun memories, but oh my god.
Oh god, I could never. Not that. Never.
Too many crazies. I could never. I don't think I'm not cut out for customer service anymore. It's like the being screamed at for literally nothing.
I'm trying to think like. Yeah, no. Too many. The guy that came in drunk and got in his car and cops came and got him and dude that came in already mad about some stuff and then gave me an attitude, so I gave it right back at him, and then he wants to fight me just because I mirrored him. Like, bro, what are you mad about? Like, all I'm doing is showing you how you're acting right now. You're a grown man in front of your kids and you think because you're stressed that's got anything to do with me?
That's
like,
what's crazy. Like you think just
I'm
because
having a
people are
bad
on
day,
the
now
clock,
I'm gonna abuse you. It's like, bro.
And that's how they see it. They're like, oh, this person's on the clock. They can't risk losing their job. Like, I'll clock out and fight you right now. I'll get a new job tomorrow. Like that should be a new rule. You should fight the customers.
The worst one that I saw. Oh, I should have pushed the bed back. the worst one that I saw. I don't remember her name, but the young like Hispanic girl. That was wearing all that makeup, and that old white man came in, and he goes, I forget, she just didn't hear him right, and he had to repeat himself. He said, "No," I said, "You're gonna. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen here. I'm gonna tell you my order. You're gonna take my order. Then you're gonna turn around. You're gonna go make my food, pack it up, give it to me, and I'm gonna have a good fucking day or whatever." And then he just began, and she like broke. Like I saw defeat in that moment. When you see someone's spirit just shatter.
It's so sad.
This chick was 16, and like it was her first. Like I'm like
her first job. It was her first job.
It was her first job, and she turned around, and I've never seen someone just so like
defeated.
I was like, wow, that was crazy.
It's like you get to a point where you kind of get used to it. And then once you get to that point, you kind of go,
You
no,
get used
I'm gonna
to it,
start saying
with
things
time,
back
but when
now.
you've never,
Yeah.
when you don't realize like how ugly the world is, and then you get a little taste of like reality, that's terrible, especially because it's an unfortunate reality or part of reality. That you are gonna encounter some angry ass people that are mean.
I learned towards the very end that like if you just match the energy, usually they settle right down. Like when they came in screaming and already, and I'd be like screaming, I'd be like, don't swear at me, and they're just not expecting me to yell. I'm like, so what can I help you with? Like, see, we can both scream or we can both talk nicely. I think that's how it should be everywhere. I'm tired of seeing retail workers like being abused, like when people are going up recording them and they're crying and they're like, we're so sorry we couldn't serve you, here's a free this and a free this, and like, yeah, thanks. Like, oh, I hope a tree falls on your car while you're sleeping.
Oh God.
Well, no harm happened. No harm happened to no one. They were sleeping in their home and the tree happened to fall on their car. Like,
Oh no, I know. I was
I'm
thinking
not wishing
about.
like harm. I just want to really inconvenience.
I was thinking about like, man, editing that part out. Putting like a little blank,
Little blank.
little bleep. Yeah, apparently there's like sound effects and stuff you can use on YouTube Studio. But like we still haven't even got Wi-Fi yet.
Well,
So
they have the SpongeBob dolphin noise, when they used to like
Yeah.
swear on that show. And
just broke my shoulder.
I heard that the pop.
Pop.
It's my knees every time I get up.
That sucks. I'm trying to transcend already.
Transcend. No joint pain. It's from all my years in retail.